Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video. And today I want to talk about the state of Toonami and where it's going and some of the stuff that's been going on as I've reported a lot of this different information that has come out and all the stuff throughout the years. But also is going to be joining me is Richard Cora Kenobi on this topic as well. So how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Very much good and happy to be back.
Yeah, so we got with Toonami, as we all know, Toonami's been around. Well, the return of Toonami, I should say, since it's been on Adult Swim, it's been around since like 2012. They had April Fool's thing, and a month later, we all know it came back, and it was very strong and it was very solid, and it has been very solid for a number of years now since it came back to Adult Swim, not really Cartoon Network, but to Adult Swim. And they've put on some great titles over the years. But the thing is, and the thing that we're going to really get into is where they are right now. And a lot of the things that we've noticed in 2018, mostly because in 2017, they had a pretty good year. We had Dragon Ball Super come out. We had Samurai Jack. They had a pretty good, solid year going into 2017, or coming out of 2017. But going into 2018, we didn't really see anything new coming out other than we knew Fluey was going to be introduced at some point. And that was pretty much it. And there was just kind of like this whole, nothing cloud going on. We didn't know what was going on. We got a couple of reruns of stuff that was being introduced, like, Lupin, I think, came in. Lupin came in. Now we got Space Dandy back. Some of the older stuff that they had already shown a while back, that's pretty much, it's whatever stuff. But lately, some of the stuff that they've been doing in terms of programming has been very interesting. Now, Apostle, I don't know if you heard about the recent news, as of last week, they announced that they're going to be starting on the 18th. They are going to be doing a 10 o'clock start with My Hero Academia starting as the front runner at 10 o'clock, and then of course Dragon Ball Super will remain at 10:30. So what are you thinking about this lineup, first of all? How are they changing this up?
Yeah, I did hear about that. A lot of great things you brought up for last year and the beginning of this year, but mostly to focus on the here and now. I did hear about that. Okay, like you, I've been finding it interesting in the way Toonami is going with its broadcasting and programming, and for them now starting with at the 10 o'clock and with My Hero Academia as the front runner, and then Dragon Ball Super. I find that very weird because, first of all, Dragon Ball Super is giving out new episodes every week, whereas with My Hero Academia, it's just reruns. So why you would have My Hero Academia as the front runner if it's not even going to feature the new season live on TV before it hits streaming services, then I don't even see the point in it being the front runner. I would say they should have just stuck with Dragon Ball Super as the front runner.
Yeah, that's what I would say that too. My Hero, I think next week they're starting season 2 because season 1 was only 12 episodes. Season 2 is 25, and 3 is going to be eventually 25 too. But yeah. So the thing with My Hero is, and I said this before about My Hero when they decided to air it, was that My Hero is a great show and definitely does fit a Toonami lineup, but
yes.
It needed to be a premiere. It needed to be a premiere thing. And right now they're just showing reruns, and not many people are watching it, as we've shown. It hasn't hit a million. It hasn't hit a million views yet. So I'm very interested into why it's ahead of Dragon Ball Super now, because Dragon Ball Super still is the top show on Toonami. It's been the top show pretty much for a while now.
Yeah, I would say it's been the top show ever since Season 5 of Samurai Jack concluded last year, because even before then I would argue
there were some weeks Dragon Ball Super was ahead of it, but Samurai Jack did have a couple ahead of it too.
No, you're right. Like for those first 2 months when Dragon Ball Super came, It definitely was ahead, but then when Samurai Jack came, obviously it was going to take the majority of the ratings. But then after it concluded and Dragon Ball went back to,
And
excuse
also
me,
it was the whole thing with I'm sorry, with the whole thing
no, it's okay.
with the new content started because because the first two seasons of Dragon Ball Super were just repeats of the movies, pretty much a retelling of the movies. And so once they started doing Universe 6, the ratings started to really go up too. That was another thing too with Dragon Ball
Yes,
Super.
yes, I completely agree. So, to what you were saying, yes, I completely agree. And again, I've even said this. I mean, I was a huge fan of My Hero Academia. And again, I would argue that this year, it's a big year for both My Hero Academia and Dragon Ball Super. But the thing about it is, if you're going to put My Hero Academia on the front lines, as we've both been saying, then you needed to start with the season premiere. Toonami should have had gotten those rights to air the excuse me, the season 3 episodes as they were coming out on streaming services, because I think that would have benefited them greatly, because the My Hero Academia movie is coming out in 2 months, English dubbed, and I understand you want to try and get ahead of that so that way everyone can catch up. But the thing is that why would you show reruns of a show to be on the front line rather than putting a show that puts out new episodes consistently and is only getting rerun now off of Toonami on Adult Swim week to week? Like, that does not make any sense to me, and I feel like that's a huge missed opportunity from Toonami's part.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was like the thing with My Hero because also this whole 10 o'clock thing too. Because they've slowly for the past couple of years have kind of tweaked the block and made it a little longer here and there. Once was just like a midnight thing, then it was 11. And then it got to 10:30. It's gradually got there. My whole thing is another thing, and this is a thing I think Toonami should do, is they should just start the block at 8 p.m. Like, just start the block at 8 p.m. You have more options. You can have some of those classic shows from Toonami, and then also have a variety of some of the new stuff, too. This is something that I think they should do, and I don't know why they're not doing it. Like especially since they've been just gradually, over the years, just gradually, making the schedule, starting sooner. Like, just start it when Adult Swim begins. That's what I think they should just do. Is wherever it begins, they should just go right to not right to Dragon Ball Super. Just right to starting Toonami. That's one of the things. Another thing that I think they could do to alternate it. But yeah, with the whole thing with My Hero, it's just I don't get where they're going. Especially since other shows, like there were other shows that were in My Hero's position before, where they were kind of at that same rating tweak, and instead of them going ahead of Dragon Ball Super, they would go right to 2 or 1 a.m. Like we've seen it with Black Clover, we've seen it with a couple other shows that were starting either at midnight or starting at 11:30 or something like that, and they would move them to the later lineup. And I'm just wondering why with My Hero they're trusting it to be ahead of Dragon Ball Super, since Dragon Ball Super is their top rated show. And that's one thing I don't understand either. What are you thinking of that?
I definitely agree with what you said. And again, both of us being huge fans of My Hero Academia, that's not us saying we wouldn't like it to be ahead of the front lines, but if it's going to be ahead of it, if Toonami is going to start with My Hero Academia, then they need to start by airing the episodes of season 3 as they come out on the same day for streaming services, because it's bad enough fans of the dub have to wait an extra week to get the episodes from the previous week that the people with the subs get. But the fact is that Toonami could be taking huge advantage of this, and that really feels like they are seriously undermining My Hero by having just the previous season reruns as the thing you go to whenever Toonami starts, because as we've both been saying, Dragon Ball Super is putting out all of their episodes at every week at a good pace, and they're trying to catch up and get to the current arc they're going to start on, so that way they can at least get there before the movie starts. But with My Hero Academia, it's just the same episodes we've already seen from the past. I mean, yeah, this could be good for people who haven't seen the previous seasons, but it just raises the question, like, why would you not have season 3 of My Hero on Toonami, and just not have the 2 seasons as reruns? Because again,
I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, by the way, Funimation now in $5.99, right, a month, and just watch the episodes all right off the bat, just so y'all know.
Exactly.
If you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So no, that is something I don't like myself, because again, it really feels like you're undermining both My Hero Academia and Dragon Ball Super by just having both of them start off like that. Because again, in my opinion, if a show is putting out more consistent episodes that's going on this season, and another show is just reruns, then naturally you would put the show with reruns after. But that's also an interesting point you bring up about the time slots and everything, because the main thing people go to Toonami for these days is just Dragon Ball Super and now My Hero Academia. So the point of
Well, no, not Dragon Ball Super. I mean, Samurai Jack was there too. So
yeah.
we'll bring that point up too later.
Yeah,
there's another point on that too topic.
Yeah, no, but specifically going off of this year, like this particular year.
Oh yeah. Let's this year. Yeah, it would be just Dragon Ball Super. Really, I mean, I can't think of anything else really that was. What else was like that was really a top-notch show on this year? I mean, Fluey Cluey was their baby. Fluey Cluey was Toonami's baby, but outside of the first episode, I was looking at the ratings. The ratings were terrible for Fluey Cluey.
Yeah, no, and that's on Toonami. The other show that was in the top 3 ratings was also Dragon Ball Z Kai, but now that that's gone, it's now
but again, that's a continuational show too. So
yeah, exactly.
It's like that's a show that's been going on for years. Like a new show that's like started this year really hasn't done that much. But then again, there hasn't been that much either.
No, there hasn't. And that is part of the interesting dilemma that we're going to talk about, is that Toonami's main problem is that there is, technically speaking, no variety when it comes to a show that shows consistent episodes that are airing on a weekly basis that we haven't seen. Because again, many people have seen the first 2 seasons of My Hero Academia. If you haven't, you can just go watch them on Funimation Now, Hulu, you name it. But with the other shows, like, I did see that they were bringing back One Punch Man, which that got me curious as to why. Because
now that's a rerun, right? That's the rerun for the first season.
That is a rerun, because season 2 of One Punch Man is supposed to be coming out this year. There's really been nothing on it, but the dub of One Punch Man season 2 won't technically be out until maybe 2020. So the fact that they're bringing back One Punch Man back into the fold and in a later time slot, it really is just interesting, and I don't understand where Toonami's going with this.
Well, yeah, and that's another thing is, like, they're bringing back a lot of shows that they, I guess, still have the TV rights to, but, like, everyone's seen them already.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Like, they've done that with Space Dandy, Lupin. Like, those are pretty much shows that have been shown already, they haven't got that much. And then, of course, let's not forget about the surprise thing, too, because there was something, I believe it was for, when they started airing Space Dandy again, I believe it was they had some type of surprise, supposedly, and then it kind of got canned in Space Dandy earlier in the year or something like that. There was something like that where Jason came out and said that. Mm-hmm. And that was one thing, too, that was really interesting. I don't know what show. I don't know what show it was, or if it was, maybe it was My Hero, because My Hero eventually did come on after that, or it was something else. But I just thought that was another thing that was interesting, because it was like, well, you had a show supposedly on the table ready to be aired and then something went through, something, where they couldn't get it, or it was delayed. That was something that I thought was really interesting, because I was thinking, well, if this is happening, then people are pulling out. Like, they're pulling out of a deal. So that's not a good thing, too, that Toonami is getting in this type of thing, that where deals are being pulled off, at the last second, are not getting aired. That's not really good. That's not, like, especially since, if you're like broadcasting stuff, you want to have these deals secured right away.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to, like, last second, like, think, oh, here we go, we're gonna air it now. To me, that sounds right. And another thing too, and this is the thing I've noticed,
Mm-hmm.
for the past couple of years, actually, I'd say last year and into this year, but mostly this year, is that a lot of the shows they're showing, or a lot of the new shows they're showing, are predominantly Funimation. And I like Funimation shows. Well, not all of them, but like I like a lot of Funimation shows. But you can't have the whole block rely on Funimation. That is like, they need more, and they recently, what was the show they just? They just talked about Baigo, the Next Generation. We'll get to that later, because I got to cover a lot of stuff on Naruto. But outside of that, most of the shows that are coming on Toonami now are, I have noticed, I don't know about you, but I have noticed it, a lot of them are just Funimations.
Yes.
And a lot of them are either ones that, like, aren't premiere, outside of maybe Attack on Titan, or Dragon Ball Super, I guess, because, Dragon Ball Super is premiered all the time on Toonami.
Yeah. No, yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah, you brought this up in one of your past videos, that the recurring pattern with Toonami these days is, one, they want to focus on anime, but two, they want to focus on Funimation anime that they have in their catalog, instead of branching out and giving us non-Funimation anime that Funimation themselves have dubbed. And I find that very, I don't know how I can describe it, but I will say this: I completely understand if people were getting sick and tired of seeing Funimation anime on Toonami, when there was a multitude of other great companies that have dubbed anime. So the fact that they're mainly sticking with Funimation, it really does show, in my opinion, just how limited Toonami is, and the fact that they're not branching out, they're not exploring more to bring other great animes to the fold that aren't dubbed by Toonami. I think that severely cripples them in the long run, and it is starting to be a negative effect on their catalog. And this is probably why now they have to start early at 10 o'clock with basically Funimation shows, and there's barely anything they're doing to fix this problem.
Yeah, they just want to do a lot of Funimation stuff. And that's becoming a huge issue, because to me, it's like, it's starting to become more of like a Funimation 2.0 type block, which to me, I think is a really good thing, for them to have this. They need to have more variety of stuff. Like, they still, from a certain extent, have occasionally, will get your Viz Media stuff. I haven't seen Sambayat Films in a while, and they had, a couple of years ago, they had two shows that I thought were really good and did pretty good in the ratings, and that was Akame gi Kill and Parasite, which did very good. And I was thinking, like, why aren't they going out to some of these shows, or Aplex of America? They got, obviously, I'm assuming Sword Art Online 3 is going to be on Toonami. Maybe not, because Blue Exorcist Season 2 wasn't, but I'm assuming that's going to be on there. But it's like, you don't have, different, anime dubbing companies coming on to Toonami besides Funimation for the most part, which I don't think that's good, unless they're getting the premiere rights, like they did with Attack on Titan to a certain extent, and obviously Dragon Ball Super. But that's about really it for that. Everything else is kind of bound to the Funimation Now. It's going on Funimation Now first, and then it goes on to Toonami maybe later or something like that. Black Clover is like 7 episodes ahead of Toonami too.
Yes.
So that's another thing that hurts that as well. And then also, I mean, and I know we can get into this too while we're in the conversations of different dubbing companies, but when I watched Toonami on Cartoon Network, as I'm sure you had as well,
Yes.
It wasn't just anime. It was
No, there was
cartoons. It was
yeah.
other stuff, and the slogan and catchphrase of Toonami is called "Building You a Better Cartoon Show."
Yes,
Not
exactly.
building you a better anime show.
Yes,
the
no.
Toonami block was never an anime all block. Okay,
No, yes.
It was an action packed block. It didn't have to be just anime. It could be cartoon. It could be all different type of things, and that's what it should be.
No, yeah, I agree with you. Like, ever since I watched Toonami as a kid, like, I love the fact that I could go to this block for action cartoons or anime. Like, it was the best of both worlds. But yeah, over time, that's what Toonami themselves lost, and the fact that they got a taste of that, in my opinion, when they brought Samurai Jack back, and the fact that they didn't capitalize on that to bring back older cartoon shows, see if those still have public interest, and see if there's something to be made there, was a huge missed opportunity by them, because again, these days, all they care about is anime, anime, anime. They really do not care about their action cartoons, because again, people seem to this is not easy to forget, is that Toonami is owned by Cartoon Network and Time Warner, so
broadcasting.
Yes, exactly. They have access to all of Cartoon Network's old vault cartoons, and you're telling me that in this day and age, when people complain that there's not enough action on Cartoon Network, Toonami would not be taking advantage of this and giving us classic action cartoons from the early 2000s that we grew up with. Like, it just baffles my mind.
I mean, it's just like, I mean, there are a lot of what's it called? There's a lot of DC, stuff out there, like even new stuff.
There is,
that they don't put on, and it just amazes me because I was seeing some of the stuff that they, obviously they have the live action movies, but there are series. There are new series that are like, being done by DC that don't come on. Don't come on to it. Like, they're not even considered, which to me is ridiculous, because it's like, look, I mean, Batman the Animated Series was on Toonami.
Yes. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, you look at all of DC, if they were to take all of DC's animated catalog, which is Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, Static Shock, Justice League Unlimited, that's 6 DC shows that you have access
about
to.
Teen Titans.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's the same thing there. You have 7 or 8 DC cartoon shows, and you're telling me that you don't even want to put them on, especially these days when comic book movies are all over the place. So why would you
with the movies and shit? Like, I mean, come on now.
Yes, and it very much baffles me that Toonami is sticking to anime, and they're wanting to capitalize on specifically Dragon Ball Super, Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, but they legitimately do not give any of the other shows their fair due. I mean, yeah, they get the ball rolling about them, but see, that's the thing. Most people, as you said, have seen these animes. If you've ever seen these animes in your life, yeah, it's good to come back to, but what's stopping you from just going on a streaming service to watch them or buying them? See, that's what Adult Swim and therefore Toonami do not understand, is that people can always go back to these animes, but the fact that you're broadcasting newer animes is something that you need to do more of, and you need to branch out, and you need to give us different dubbing companies takes on these particular animes, or maybe even animes we've never even heard of. But also too, yeah, with cartoon shows, because as you said, yeah, Toonami was specifically made to air cartoons and anime, so it was kind of the best of both
It was a
worlds. With
variety. It was a variety of different stuff.
Yes, exactly. And that's what we want. Like, that's what we want. And again, these days, I think it's important for Toonami to try and at least go back and recapture that gold that they had in their pockets years ago, like before they got canceled the first time. And now they're just not doing it. And again, Samurai Jack came back last year. When that came around, that was their highest viewed broadcasting show. Like, it was legitimately in the top 5 ratings of the Nielsen's. And so if you're telling me that you're not going to learn from that, and you're not going to either bring back old cartoons, or you're not going to revive older cartoons and bring them back onto your block so that way you can get those ratings again, then in my opinion, Toonami is becoming just as stupid in their business tactics as Cartoon Network.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that it happened last. And I know we're going to talk about this, but you know, I had said this before a while back, that if the Teen Titans had ever come back, which I'm not going to say they are going to come back because I still don't believe it yet, but if they do come back, I said it before that Jason DeMarco needs to get on his phone or wherever he does to make contract negotiations, and he needs to call them up and get that thing on Toonami, because that would be a big hit.
I agree. Yes. No. Again, I made a video about this. In my belief, Teen Titans is coming back sooner than later, but regardless of what everyone believes or doesn't believe, you are absolutely right. But see, now here's the problem: if or when Teen Titans comes back, the television rights still do belong to Cartoon Network. So theoretically, Toonami still could air those reruns, but now the DC streaming service has gotten a hold of the first 5 seasons of Teen Titans, and it will be putting that on its catalog. So that
they have already said that for the stream rights.
Yeah,
they've already like gotten that. The stream's not even out yet, right?
No, it comes out in the fall, but you can pre-order it now. It's $8 a month. Very good stuff. But yeah, no, they've already got all 5 seasons of the Teen Titans on there. So if Teen Titans does come back, and if it's announced that it will come back, now chances are it's going to come back on the streaming service, and that means Toonami has just dropped the biggest ball in their life, and they missed out on something big.
I just want to put this out there that we could be wrong about this. Maybe Toonami already has it, or maybe Cartoon Network already has it. We don't know. They can have this in secret. We don't know. But if they didn't get it and they know it was coming back and they missed out on it, and let the streaming get the premiere rights to it, that would be a huge missed opportunity for them.
Yes, no, I agree. Or even so, like, even if they don't get Teen Titans, are you telling me that Toonami isn't the least bit interested in bringing back shows that want to come back? Like Codename Kids Next Door. That one, the creator wanted that show to come back. He had tons of ideas.
I was all on board for that. The Galactic Codename Kids Next Door, they did that big animation thing. It was really cool.
Yes, exactly. So the fact that you're telling me that Samurai Jack was the only show that was allowed to come back on Toonami just because Gendy Tartakovsky had connections to Adult Swim, that, in my opinion, is messed up because, once again, there is so much profit and interest in older shows from our childhood, and Toonami is just letting all of that go past them because they are solely focused on anime. Like, it's legitimately ridiculous, and you saying it's just Funimation 2.0, that couldn't be further from the truth because, again, they clearly do not care about their roots. Like, they legitimately want to be an anime block. And because of that, they're literally alienating the people who grew up with them and showing that, look, all we care about is anime, and if it's done by Funimation, it's on the slot. That's really much how it is. And it's very unfortunate because, again, Toonami right now could be making so much more money and getting so much more ratings if tomorrow they were to announce, okay, so we're going to start bringing back older cartoon action shows from the early 2000s, but we're also going to renew and take an interest in seeking out older cartoons that want to come back for 1 or 2 more seasons, and they'll be exclusively on Toonami and Adult Swim. So that way you can get so many more people. Because again, not many people are watching Toonami these days. They're only watching it solely for Dragon Ball Super. And that's a bit unfair.
Maybe a couple other things if they're like hardcore fans of that certain show, but primarily everything is right now at the moment for Dragon Ball Super. Attack on Titans, when that comes out, possibly. But again, with Attack on Titans, it's not like with Dragon Ball Super where you have to wait a few weeks for episodes to go on to Funimation. Now, Attack on Titans episodes come out literally the next day after Toonami airs it on Toonami or on Adult Swim.
I agree. Yes, I completely agree. And again, if Dragon Ball Super was to go off the air tomorrow, like hypothetically, let's just say that they decided they're done with Dragon Ball Super and they're just going to move it to their streaming service and not on their broadcasting service, then you've already eliminated half of Toonami's block because they rely so much on Dragon Ball Super to get them the highest ratings to stay in the game. So without Dragon Ball Super, they virtually have lost half of their inventory for potential ratings, and it's all going to be solely on My Hero Academia and Attack on Titan. But once again, Attack on Titan,
My Hero
is
not
Super, Attack on Titan and Dragon Ball Super are the only shows that can air new episodes from the current season. With My Hero Academia, going back to what we've been saying over and over again, they can't even get season 3 distributed on Toonami, and that very much is very confusing because, again, if they have access to all of Funimation's catalog and the right to distribute them, then what is stopping them from getting season 3 and just rerunning My Hero Academia weekly like they're doing to Dragon Ball now? Like, that's my question.
Dragon Ball Super with during the week. Yeah, I don't know. And what I heard, one of the rumors I've heard about what they're planning for My Hero is that they're trying to get caught up to wherever they like, because they're just gonna, because as you know, they're starting season 2 this week, but they're basically just gonna keep going on until they get caught up. Which by the time season 2 is done, by the time they get done with season, because season 2 is 25 episodes, not 12 episodes like season 1 was. By the time they get finished with season 2 and they get on to season 3 is probably going to be over with on the Funimation now, and then they'll start up season 3 probably by the beginning of next year. I'm assuming right now. They'll probably start up either in December or January, and by that point they'll have 25 more episodes of season 3 to go through, and then one of the rumors is that season 4 might not start up until a certain point, and then they could start airing it when season 4 starts. But I don't even know when season 4 would come out, so I don't exactly know what they're planning on that. So
no, me neither.
That would be the thing. I just don't know.
I don't know either. It is very unfortunate because, yeah, right now, this year would have been the biggest year for Toonami to capitalize on the hot streak that My Hero Academia is going through, because in my opinion, I think this year's is My Hero's biggest year, because you have season 3, you have the movie, you have the video game, and you're telling me that Toonami cannot capitalize and get in on that, and they have to wait until a certain point to catch up, because again, see, that's the thing, by the time season 3 does air, many people have already seen season 3. Most people have already seen it, and if people are just going to ignore watching it on streaming services and watch it solely on television on Toonami, then that immediately cripples them. As I said, in terms of the grand scheme of things and in the long run, that's not good. That's not a very good benefit for Toonami. If anything, that's a detriment in their and it's not a good one either.
Yeah, like I said, and there hasn't been that many programmings that have been coming on this year, premiere stuff, and this is an example of that. Like, by the time, let's say hypothetically, season 4, okay, Toonami, once they get caught up, season 4 is about to air, and then they do kind of something like they did with Attack on Titan, right? Where they air it first, and then they'll air it the next day on Funimation Now for season 4, for next year or somewhere around there. Let's just say hypothetically that ends up happening. Okay, here's the thing. So much time has passed, and by the time you do that, it's like everything has died out. It's like the movies have died out. The movie's gone, and this is like you said, this is the best year for it. And now, by the time they get to there, it's like if they even get there, because I'm still not convinced on that. But if they get there and they get caught up, in time for season 4, a lot of the interest will be gone by that point too. So, and you missed out all out on that money that you could have had you had it the first time around. So that's a big issue right there for it.
It is, yeah, and it's a very big issue, and it's very frustrating to me because, again, I am a huge fan of great animes that deserve to get their time to shine. Again, My Hero Academia is one of my favorite animes of the modern day, and to see Toonami not give it the treatment that it deserves, and them not taking advantage of this great year that's going on for My Hero Academia, but they're doing it for Dragon Ball Super, when by next year, when the movie comes out, Dragon Ball Super will only be one episode into the arc they're going to get in. And that, to me,
assuming they don't have any other episodes.
Yes, assuming they don't have any other episodes. So, again, it's like we said, Dragon Ball Super is actually getting a better deal than My Hero Academia, but it's not a great deal either, because talking about Dragon Ball Super, as you and I have been saying, the predicament that Dragon Ball Super is in right now, especially for the dub audience, and now with this movie coming out, which everyone is hyped for, that's not to be taken away. The hype is not meant to be taken away from that. But the problem is Toonami, by this point, should get the ball roll. They should be getting the ball rolling on trying to catch up to the movie. But by next year, they won't even be into the second episode of the arc. So to me, it seems like Toonami is just losing all of these great benefits, and they're not taking advantage of things you would expect them to. So they're not even distributing the animes correctly. Like, it definitely feels like Dragon Ball Super and My Hero Academia are getting the very short end of the stick. And it also feels like they're not even doing a great job to promote all of the other animes that they have. I mean, I know people watch them, and obviously, not many. And now they're going to start airing Boruto next year too. They're going to start airing Boruto.
Oh, yeah,
but see, that's
Boruto is actually starting September 29th.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's starting in a month. But here's the problem: Naruto Shippuden isn't even done on Toonami.
Let me correct you on that. Isn't even close. Even close.
Yes, isn't even close.
They're like episode, like they're like, I believe right now they're on episode 212 or something like that on Toonami.
Yeah.
Currently right now, as we speak, there is at least 445 episodes that are currently English dubbed of Naruto Shippuden, and Toonami has not aired at least 250 of them. And plus, there's also 500 episodes in all. So there's still like about 55 episodes that have yet to be dubbed. But there are dubbed episodes of Naruto Shippuden already out. It's not like with Dragon Ball Super where the episodes aren't officially out. There are actual episodes of Naruto Shippuden that are officially out.
Yeah.
And they don't have them. And there's no stream service to watch them like there is on Funimation.
No,
so that makes it even worse.
No, I agree, man.
You gotta direct download. You gotta direct download them for $1.50.
Yeah, no, exactly. So the fact that they want to start airing Boruto on Toonami when Shippuden isn't even close to being done, again, you're literally doing the same thing you've been doing to Dragon Ball Super and My Hero Academia. So at this point, I have to ask, what is even the point of Toonami acquiring these new shows or these current seasons if they're not even going to distribute them properly or they're going to finish the current seasons they're on. So again, it feels like the people who come to Toonami for dub episodes of the anime they want to watch, they're not getting anything out of this.
Yeah, because it's like when you watch Naruto Shippuden, you're gonna be like, okay, we gotta watch Naruto Shippuden, but now Boruto's is out, and it's like, wait a minute, like they talk about certain things that I have never even heard of yet, so like it's just like it doesn't make sense. Like I like currently like I'm far away from like because I already started watching Naruto Shippuden like further from where Toonami is currently at because the English dub has those episodes out. But the thing is if you're watching Naruto Shippuden on Toonami right now, like, and then you watch Boruto's, you're going to be spoiled massively because they're not even close. They're not even close to the series ending. Okay, there's like 250 episodes that Toonami hasn't shown yet of Naruto Shippuden. It's not even close. I mean, with Dragon Ball Super, it might be a little close, but not really. But with Naruto, there's at least like 7 seasons that haven't been shown yet. Maybe more seasons that haven't been shown yet.
Exactly.
So yeah, that is a big, big, big drop. Like,
it is. I will not lie to you. Yeah, no, it is. And again, they're not even trying. See, in my opinion, yeah, they're not even fucking trying because again, with Naruto Shippuden, Dragon Ball Super, and My Hero Academia, and you're right, yeah, Dragon Ball Super is the closest to catching up to where it is. But even as we've just said, next year they're not even going to be 2 episodes into the Tournament of Power before the movie comes out. And with My Hero Academia, by the time they do get season 3 going, either season 4 has already been announced, so maybe that's good, or season 4 by then has already started, and there is no point
depending on when season 4 comes out. Season 4 comes out, so we don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And now with Naruto Shippuden, because again, Boruto has only been on for 2 years now, and already now they're starting to get it on Toonami when they haven't even come close to ending Naruto Shippuden, and there are episodes missing. It just feels like Toonami is literally, I cannot stress this enough, they are literally being the opposite of what they're trying to be, because it does not feel like there's any benefit in this anymore. Because again, at least with Cartoon Network, they're starting to wise up and put out more original programming while also bringing back older shows from their vaults, either putting it on the main network or Boomerang, but at least they're catching on. With Toonami, it feels like they're going backwards each time, and I don't understand how Toonami, of all people, would feel like they're the ones not even trying, because again, it to me, I don't know, man. It's very frustrating, and I really can't think of anything else to say, but Toonami needs to get their shit together, and they need to be committed to these things. Like, again, they need to drop this whole anime block thing and trying to be like Funimation 2.0, and they need to start Yes, exactly. They need to get old Cartoon Network shows back into the fold. They need to go after more shows that want to come back by the creators, so that way they can be relevant again. But they also need to give the animes they have in their catalog a chance to. They need to give them a chance to earn the right to be on Toonami. Because as far as I'm concerned, Dragon Ball Super is the only show that's earning that spot. And it's no wonder why that show is bringing them in the most ratings, because My Hero isn't even close to that, and neither is Naruto Shippuden. Like, neither of the other shows are even close to where Dragon Ball Super is.
Well, yeah, Naruto Shippuden, a big problem is it's on a graveyard hour, essentially, 2 a.m. But of course, I mean, if you're a big-time Naruto fan, I mean, you probably already know about a lot of the dubbed episodes already that are out. So, yes. I mean, probably already, I've touched on recently, and that's why I'm, like, ahead. Like, I'm currently at, like, 305 right now, which, that's still a long way to go, by the way, from where they're at. Yeah. But, it's still much better than where Toonami is at, which is around, like, 215 or something like that right now, or something like around there. So, that's just not really, good. But like looking at this lineup, because I'm looking at like the lineup here and what they're going, and one of the things that stands out with this lineup, because as of the 25th, the lineup is going to change. 18th is going to be the last week where they have like they kind of kickstart the 10 o'clock thing, but then the August 25th they're going to have the official Attack on Titans on their well, they premiere Attack on Titans will premiere on the 18th, but then the next week they'll have 2 episodes of Attack on Titan because Fooly Cooly's rerun run will end. So then they'll have 2 episodes of Attack on Titans, which I'm assuming is going to be a recap episode from the previous week and then a new episode. That's what I'm understanding of what's it going to be. But I feel like they should have, like, I've been saying this for a while now, is they should start airing 2 episodes of Dragon Ball Super. And not, I don't know what the benefit of airing 2 episodes of Attack on Titans are, especially since they don't really, I mean, outside of Dragon Ball Super for a while, they never really showed, like, the previous week's episode. And they're doing that now for Attack on Titans, which I think is really weird. Rather than do it for Dragon Ball Super or give 2 episodes of Dragon Ball Super, which they could still do. I don't think it will still help them catching up sooner now at this point. But what do you think about that? About what they're doing with Attack on Titan now?
Yeah.
What do you think about?
What do I think about what they're doing with Attack on Titan now? What they're doing with Attack on Titan. Basically, it's fine, in my opinion. I am very much happy that show is getting a good amount of screen time, and it's really earning its spot. But in my opinion, I think it should be on the front lines. Like, I think this whole front lines thing should be with Dragon Ball Super, then Attack on Titan, and then My Hero Academia, because it's only Dragon Ball Super and Attack on Titan that are airing consistent episodes, each week that aren't reruns. Whereas with My Hero and most of the other animes on the block, they're all just reruns anyway. So, I mean, when you really get down to it, I think it's very good that, at least with Attack on Titan being 3 seasons, it's getting that benefit of all of their episodes airing on Toonami and streaming services. But then that just raises the question, how come with Attack on Titan they can get that done, but not with My Hero Academia? Because, again, it just makes Toonami look bad, and it makes them look like they care less about My Hero Academia.
Well, with Attack on Titan, I do know the story on Attack. The reason why Attack on Titan, I think they get the premiere thing for it, is because when they started airing it, I believe, like in, what was it, 2015? I think it was. I think it was 2015 when they first aired the first season. What happened is that Attack on Titan was there wasn't simuldubs, or simuldubs were just really starting out in development for Funimation. And Attack on Titan was signed over to Toonami, and so they got the premiere rights to it, and that's why when they started really, when Funimation now started really, grinding that whole simuldub thing, they really wanted to have it more out there, but Toonami, since I guess they had the contract that they were allowed to premiere it first, and that's why they came up with this agreement where Toonami premieres it first, and then Funimation gets to air it the next day on Funimation Now. That's my understanding with it was with Attack on Titan, but with My Hero it's sort of different because My Hero started during that whole simuldub era where they really were enforcing it more. But I mean, still, I feel like if Toonami really, put more money down on it, they could. If they really, I feel like if they really could, because it feels like some of these shows, it's like they can't get them because it's like they're bound to this whole stream stuff. And I feel like, if you get the shows, if you put enough money down for these shows, you're going to get them. I mean, they get that for Dragon Ball Super. Of course, that was more due to Toei, because Toei didn't want it on stream service. They wanted it to be on a TV broadcast before streaming. That was another reason why Toonami was able to get it so easily. But I feel like if they, really wanted the shows out there, they could put more money down on these shows. They don't do that. And, another, with these shows, some of these shows, they give up on them really quickly, like Hunter x Hunter's been on the block for a while now, been just airing consistently. And it's a show that once, was on a solid time slot, and then it slowly, went down, and now it's currently at a 1 a.m. time slot rather than, at an earlier time slot. Some of these shows, they just give up right away on them, and then they just move them down the time slot. Even Black Clover, when, Black Clover was first, on the block, it was time slot, right? I think it started at 11:30 or something like that, and then now it's at like 1:30 currently, right? It's currently at 1:30 a.m.
Yeah.
So a lot of these shows, they just kind of give up on. They just kind of give up on them. They just kind of slowly put them down on the later echelons of the block, and then, and that's why I think it's very interesting that My Hero is the front runner too, because My Hero, like we've been saying, is a rerun essentially, because it's already been on a streaming service, but yet it's now going to be ahead of Dragon Ball Super, which is their top-rated show. That's one thing that really interests me, that, like, why this show is so more, that they're still very strong on My Hero, but they're not strong on some of these other shows that are coming out, that they kind of just give up on them and put them on the, the later echelons of the block. So that's my take on some of that stuff. But also, and I feel like we should cover this too, and that is one of the more recent shows that did air in 2018 that's currently airing on the block right now. A show that highly does not deserve to be on Toonami, called Jason DeMarco out on this, and that is Pop Team Epic.
Really?
What are your thoughts first on this?
Well, first of all, I have barely heard of that, but I don't understand why it's there. Like, why? That is an interesting thing. Why is that there? Like, if that's going to be there, then again, it just raises the question, man. What is Toonami thinking with these choices? Because again, they have the opportunity to go out and give us different animes that aren't done by Funimation, and they choose to do this. Like,
it is another Funimation title too. I should note that as well.
Okay, of course. Okay, yeah. Then,
but it is a Funimation title, but it's not an action title either. So I mean, it's not even fitting the Toonami mold essentially that we got. But yes, it is a Funimation thing again. But my biggest issue is it's not a Toonami show. It's not. It does not fit the criteria of Toonami at all. Some people compare it to Robot Chicken. I personally don't think it's Robot Chicken at all. But I can get, I guess, where they're getting the comedic thing from. But my whole thing is, if you're gonna say it's a Robot Chicken type show, then keep it on regular Adult Swim. Don't put it on Toonami, because then it just goes back to this whole thing that Toonami is more anime than actual variety action block show that shows cartoons and anime, which again is what we've been talking about, is the wrong move. My whole thing is the show, and some of the people have been coming out, because I've made videos and I've talked about this, and some people have come out and told me it is a Toonami show because it's airing on Toonami. How can you say it? If you're going to go by that logic, then Jason DeMarco is a hypocrite, because he said on Toonami pre-flight that Hamtaro was not a Toonami show, and that show aired on today. He said it was not a Toonami show. I actually showed the video. I quoted it from him. He actually said, I love Hamtaro, but my whole beef with Hamtaro is it was not a Toonami show. That was a direct quote from Jason DeMarco. Like, so you can't say that, oh, well, because it's on the block, it's a Toonami show. I'm saying, like, no, that's not how it works. It's not a Toonami show in the criteria of how Toonami's been branded. which it's not. If you go by the criteria of what Toonami is supposed to be, that is not the criteria. Pop Team Epic does not fit the criteria of a Toonami show. And just because Hamtaro is a, comedy kid show and Pop Team Epic is more of an adult comedy show, it's still a comedy show, guys. It's still that good. It's not really an action show. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't fit it. So, but what's your thing on that?
No, that is a very hypocritical statement to make. Like, okay, if you're gonna say this show is not a Toonami show, or a Funimation related thing, then what the hell is to stop all of your fan base or your general audience from saying, okay, well then technically Dragon Ball Super isn't a Toonami show, or My Hero Academia, or any of these shows are not Toonami shows, because again, as we've established, Toonami was not meant to air anime. It was meant to air action cartoons. So technically speaking, the older catalog before Toonami got canceled, those were meant for Toonami. So by definition, those were Toonami shows. Anime is not a Toonami show because, once again, Toonami is just getting the rights to air them. They're not actually owning these things. So I don't understand where Jason DeMarco thinks that what he's saying is a fact. It's not. So I don't really understand. And you're right. No, that does make him look like a huge hypocrite because, okay, then again, what is a Toonami show in Jason DeMarco's eyes? Like, see, that's the thing, because I think
what is his eyes on the Toonami show? Because he said, also another thing, I can bring this up too, because I know a lot of people are going to remember this show, Woodrun Warriors. Woodrun Warriors, doesn't everyone remember that failed show? That show aired on the Cartoon Network Toonami for 2 weeks. And it was terrible, by the way. And it was so terrible, that's why they canceled it. Is that show a Toonami show? Because it aired on Toonami. Because that's what people are commenting. People are saying that if the show airs on Toonami, that makes it a Toonami show. That fits the criteria of a Toonami show. But I just, as I brought it up, because I can obviously link you guys the video, but I've already showed links to many different people about this and timestamped it, of Jason DeMarco actually saying that Hamtaro was not a Toonami show, even though it aired on Toonami. He said it was not a Toonami show. That was his beef with the show, was it was not a Toonami show. So by that logic, then you're basically the fans are basically saying that Jason DeMarco's a hypocrite, because if you're going to say that this show is a Toonami show because it airs on Toonami, then that means Hamtaro was a true Toonami show, which Jason DeMarco has gone on record and says it's not a Toonami show. So, that's the whole thing. You can't use that logic. So as we're trying to explain to you guys, that's just the thing. I'm not trying to say that, because I know there are people that like Pop Team Epic. I'm not trying to discourage you guys, but, this show should not be on Toonami. If you want to put it on, if Adult Swim really wanted the show, just put it on Adult Swim as a regular, standalone, kind of like Robot Chicken or, regular Adult Swim. That was what I said, is if you want to put it on that. Don't put it on Toonami. Don't put it on Toonami, because if you put it on Toonami, then you're kind of taking away the values of what Toonami was, and that is an action-packed block. I mean, guys, Toonami, okay, the original Toonami, 1997 Toonami, okay, 1997 Toonami had no anime. It had no anime. It had mostly Space Ghosts and stuff like that.
Yes.
I think Johnny Quest as well. But yeah, that was Toonami. Toonami didn't start out with anime and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, the first anime that aired on Toonami was Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon actually aired 3 months before Dragon Ball Z did. That's actually a true thing. That's actually what got Dragon Ball Z on the air. Putting anime. But the thing is it didn't start out as an anime block, and that wasn't what it was created for. It wasn't. The whole concept of creating Toonami wasn't to create this block for anime with a variety of different action shows for kids to watch. That was the concept of Toonami always, was to create that content for people, when they get home, from school or whatever. I mean, unfortunately, we don't get that anymore. I wish we still had a weekday Toonami block like that. I know people have been requesting for that for years. I would love to see a weekday block,
Yeah.
but I'm probably not going to get that again. But yeah, like that's the thing is it's not, it's not a freaking anime block, and it needs to have more of that variety still again. And that's one thing that they're hurting. It can't all be anime. Like, we got a lot of great anime titles on there that definitely deserve to be on there. But we need to have other things on there too, that aren't just anime. And that's what I think about it. Is that's what I'm thinking. What I think should.
Again, as you've been saying, as we've both been saying, Toonami needs to cut this shit out and start going back to their roots, because again, anime was never the selling point of the Toonami block. It was always cartoons that had action in them, like the DC cartoons, like other stuff like Space Ghost, like Johnny Quest. Again, the fact that they were willing to do that, and the fact that Toonami these days, the fact that Jason DeMarco wants to completely forget Toonami started off like that, is an insult to what Toonami started as in the first place. Because again, I mean, I want to see Toonami go back to being to having variety with cartoons and animes. And again, because of what Boomerang has become these days, to where they're not even airing their action cartoons anymore. Again, why isn't Toonami capitalizing on this? Why aren't they getting all of the action cartoons from Cartoon Network's vault back? But instead, no, they are so bent on anime and anime alone. And to this day, I highly doubt they'll ever consider bringing back Cartoon Network action cartoons into the fold, or for that matter, any action cartoons, because again, they just don't care. In my opinion, Toonami just does not care. I mean, all they care about is anime, and this is what's gonna. Again, people have been saying,
Samurai Jack came back.
Yeah, no. If Samurai Jack can come back, then what in the hell is stopping them from bringing back Codename Kids Next Door for Galactic Kids Next Door? What's stopping
I would love for that to come back, by the way.
Yeah, no. What is stopping them from bringing back Courage the Cowardly Dog? What is stopping them from bringing back other shows from Cartoon Network's history? Like, seriously, Toonami, like, what is it?
Well, I don't know if Courage the Cowardly Dog was on Toonami, though. Because I don't think that was a Toonami show.
No,
that would be a good show to bring back for Cartoon Network, though.
No, yeah, but I'm just using it as an example. So, as I said, man, again, I don't understand. I really do not understand where Toonami's head is these days. But to me, man, it just seems like Toonami just doesn't care. They really don't care. They couldn't care less about where we are in terms of... Because again, as you've noticed, and as we've both noticed, action cartoons are few and far between these days, because what Cartoon Network cares about is comedy. What what Toonami cares about is anime. So the fact that both of these networks do not want action cartoons, it's basically an insult to Golden Age Toonami fans. And I feel as if Toonami is never going to change. And Jason DeMarco is never going to get the message. Like, clearly, he doesn't care, and he just wants anime. That's it. Like, there's really nothing that can be said about that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's just anime so far, and that's the thing. Like, even with the Fluey Cluey thing, that was funded by them. Like, they funded the Fluey Cluey project, but what did it do? I thought overall Fluey Cluey was okay. I personally think they should have, in terms of the story, I think they should have, implied more characters from the first season than the second. Like, second season, they just kind of just have all these new characters in there for the most part, except for the one. But that was it. I felt like they should have implemented more of that into the story, and I feel that's why I feel Fluey Cluey didn't do good. Like, I felt like the story was kind of different because they kind of went in a different direction, and just kind of had new characters and stuff like that in there, and that's kind of where people weren't interested in it. That's why I think the ratings for Fluey Cluey weren't good. I felt like they should have just continued off with the existing characters, but that was a project that Toonami funded too. Like they spent a lot of money. They spent their own money, like their own Toonami budget money, into those 2 seasons, the season 2 and season 3, and from season two's indication, it doesn't seem like it really worked, and that's concerning in itself because I mean it might pause them from doing future projects because after Samurai Jack's success, they said they were going to look into more projects, and then we see this project not do necessarily that good. It might affect them doing projects later on. But, like you've said and like we've alluded to, is that they're not trying for other cartoons. They're just trying to do anime for the most thing. And even with Fluey Cluey, okay, Fluey Cluey was premiered on Toonami. Okay,
exactly.
That was premiered on, because they funded it, right? So
yes.
that was on their, dime, and they showed it, and only the first week really got a lot of ratings, and then after that, it slowly started to go down and down and down each week, and that's a problem. That's a problem because that was premiered. That was Ball Super's premiered, like Attack on Titan's premiered, and that show didn't deliver. That is a telling that's not good. That's not good for that to happen. Like especially when it's on your own money, because you're losing money on that. What do you think? What do you think of Fluey Cluey? Because we haven't really, I don't think we really talked much about Fluey Cluey so far.
No, yeah, I still need to get into it, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. But I do know that it's pretty much getting the same treatment that all the other animes on Toonami's block are getting, and again, that's unfair because if you're going to go through all that risk of bringing back Fluey Cluey, then again, just like My Hero Academia, what in the hell is even the point? Like again, what is the point to all this?
But with the advantage of Fluey Cluey though is it's premiered. It's like My Hero's not premiered on Toonami.
No, it's not.
Fluey Cluey was. But Fluey Cluey didn't get that many ratings, though. That's the thing, though. That's a big issue, though.
So, why even bring it back at all? See, this is what I don't understand. I really am. I'm trying to get into Toonami's head and Jason DeMarco's head to understand where they're coming from. But all I see is that they're legitimately not even trying. Like, they're taking too many steps backwards, and they're just not legitimizing themselves as a proper block. Like again, Toonami does not feel like it understands its audience and it doesn't know what they want. Like it thinks they do, but they don't. Like because again, if they did know what we want, then they would have brought him back all of the old Action Cartoon Network shows. They would have expanded beyond
or some new DC shows because there's some new DC shows too.
Yeah, no, they would.
There are some new DC shows that are out there that we don't even know about. They could have brought through. Don't they got like some new series on like Hulu or something now for like DC? There's a lot of new different things that's going on. DC
DC is trying to get on a huge winning start, and again, their animation consists of nothing but Teen Titans Go, but their other stuff is just animated films and animated shows that get canceled. So again, the fact of the matter is that. In my opinion, Toonami is just not understanding where we're coming from. Because again, we want older action-packed cartoon shows. We want them to expand their capital on animes and go out and get other titles that aren't done by Funimation. There needs to be variety here. But again, there is no variety. Even though people will say, oh, but Toonami has all of these different animes. Look at all of them. They're all done by Funimation. And what is Toonami's main contact? Funimation. That's it. So
main contact. With the exception of a couple of Viz stuff here and there, that's about it, really. I mean, you don't have any Afflex, you don't have any Afflex of America, you don't have any Senbai films, and then of course we don't have any regular cartoons.
No, we don't. Either. No, there is literally no variety in this. And again, as we've gone on and on about this, I mean, again, if people like Toonami the way it is, fine. That's your opinion. But again, you cannot tell me that Toonami is the best it's ever been right now, because contrary to belief, as we've just been saying, they are not the best they've ever been, because they clearly
they're not. They're not. They were better off like 3 years ago. Like 3 years ago, I thought they were doing really good.
they
Like
were
last year they were still doing solid, but
no,
it's
yeah,
slowly.
yeah, exactly. After Samurai Jack, that's it. That's where everything just went downhill. After Samurai Jack came and went, and they didn't even take advantage of it. Like, they could have they even brought back all 4 seasons on Toonami. No, actually, yeah, they did. They brought that back, and a long time ago, they even brought back Batman, Beware the Batman, that underrated,
Well, that was
kind of
new though,
crappy
wasn't it?
cartoon that coincided with Teen Titans Go to air its final season episodes. So again,
That was new though. Wasn't that Batman new though?
yeah, that was new, but it only lasted 1 season because fans didn't like its artistic style.
Yeah,
So they got
it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't the best Batman series. It wasn't. I wasn't. I love my Batman, by the way,
no,
but I wasn't really that much into that one.
yeah, exactly. So I don't know, man. I really don't. I feel like I think we've presented enough evidence to pretty much show that Toonami is not the best they've ever been. They're clearly staying in one property, and that's anime, and also two, they're alienating people who grew up with the old Toonami. And also, if they keep this up, hypothetically, if they keep this up, Toonami may get canceled again. They very much could get canceled again. There is nothing.
It could. I don't know if it will get canceled. But I mean, if they keep going on this, I mean, it could. I mean, let's keep it wrong. When we're making this video right now, we hope it does improve. We hope we end up being wrong, and like a year from now, we're talking about like a really good place that Toonami's in. Like, but we're talking about it based on what's going on right now. So stuff changes later on. I personally am admitted, because I want to see Toonami get better. I want to see them improve and go back to where they were right from the beginning when they started, when they came back in 2012 and they were really interesting again. It was hype and stuff like that. And even back in 2015, they were still doing good. So it's like, we want to see that. We want to see Toonami,
Yes.
back. We want to be wrong. We want to be wrong.
No,
we want to be wrong,
Yes, no, no, yeah, you're right. We definitely want to be wrong. I've got no problem with being wrong. I want to see Toonami come back. I want to see it go back to how it used to be. I want to see them start to give a shit about what we want. I really do. I want these shows, these animes. I wanted to have Cartoon Network action shows. I wanted to have different variety in animes. I wanted to have movies. I want Toonami to legitimize its presence by being on Adult Swim. And if it can't even do that, if it hasn't been doing that, then what is even the point of having Toonami for an anime block if it's not even going to expand on that? So
yeah,
I agree, man. I
that's
definitely. Yeah, no,
I mean, that's the thing. Like, yeah, it's just I wish, like we said, we've been saying this throughout this whole thing, is that we want it to be better, and we hope it can be better. We hope that something new will happen. In a year from now or in a couple months from now. But as of right now, 2018 has not been a good year for them. I think 2018 has been probably their worst year since they've been back as well. I think it's been because the way the programming has been announced has not been handled correctly. So that's where it is right now. Hopefully, by the end of this year, maybe something will happen. Maybe by 2019, something will happen and we'll make it more interesting again and get more stuff up. But as of right now, it is getting a little worrisome. We'll see. But I think we got everything. I don't know if there's anything else.
No. I think that's pretty much it. We did kind of fire on all cylinders again. Yeah, to kind of, if you all want to take something away from this, then again, just ask yourselves, like, what do you want Toonami to be? Like, what do you want this network to be? Do you want it to be solely focused on anime, specifically Funimation anime, or do you want to have variety? Like again, if Cartoon Network can have variety with its main channel and Boomerang, then why can't Toonami have that? Like that just answered that. That's a question I legitimately want answered. So yeah, no, we're fans of Toonami like you guys are, but again, we come from an old school
Toonami's been
fan.
like my childhood. I'm a huge Toonami fan. You know, I've
Yeah.
been big. You know, it's what essentially got us all into anime to begin with.
Yes,
Really.
yes,
You know?
yes, no. Like it's because of Toonami I got into anime. You're definitely right. And again, like I want that Toonami back. I really want that Toonami to come back. And again, like Toonami needs to be like that again now more than ever. But if it can't, then what's stopping Toonami from getting canceled again? There's legitimately nothing there's nothing stopping Toonami from potentially leaving again. And if anyone can say Dragon Ball Super, well, that's just it. Dragon Ball Super and Attack on Titan and Fooly Cooly, like all of these shows can only do so much. These shows cannot keep Toonami on air for long.
Toonami on for a while. Dragon Ball Super will probably keep it on, but I mean, Dragon Ball Super is eventually going to end. So, like, then what happens?
Exactly. Yeah. What happens when people are going to get sick and tired of all of the anime on Toonami, and by then Toonami's going to be backed into a corner. So I hope things get better. I hope they listen to our cries. I hope that they really take this criticism and they try and expand on it. Like I really want them to go back and figure out like how can they be good again.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's really about it. If you let me know what you guys think about this, any of our topics here. You know what you think about the state of Toonami is, and where you think it, they should do. Do you agree with this? Do you not agree with this? Do you have any other things that you think that they could do that we did not talk about or cover here? I'd like to know that too. Rate, comment. If you like this video on my other videos, please subscribe. Also, go to Richard Core Kenobi's channel and subscribe to his stuff. He's got some good videos out there as well. And that's about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Goku. And stay gold, everyone. We're out. Peace.
Later, guys.